What's going on, everyone? My name's Security Denied, and welcome back to the Average Gamer's Perspective on the TWID, also known as This Week in Destiny. This Week in Destiny, we are maining hand cannons because they are the stars of our Arms Week event. Have you earned a good Funutria? Fonutria? I cannot pronounce that. I had trouble last time too. Fonutria Farah yet? Or are you focusing on getting the new Trace Rifle? And have you seen the topics for today? Well, check them. Weird symbol. Arms Week is live. The coil is now in the portal. Nice. Solstice coming next week. Oh, Solstice event next week. Trials of Osiris tomorrow. Further the Edge of Fate support. Budget your build in the Desert Perpetual raid. An update from the Bungie Foundation. All right. Arms Week is on. We're 2 days into Arms Week. How are all you hand cannon enthusiasts feeling? We have introduced a new archetype with Fonutria Farah. Some old favorites are dropping from activities, and you can equip crazy volatile mods with powerful effects into them. And no, we have not forgotten about the new Strand Rifle. We've seen a few fun rolls out there already for it. Arms Week is a 1 week event introduced with the Edge of Fate, and it will be around until the next weekly reset on Tuesday, August 5th. So don't miss on the opportunity to earn some nice rewards while you can. It has its own event home that you can find in the portal main screen, and that has daily and weekly challenges, an event track with a variety of rewards, including holofoil weapons. It's a nice way to get holofoils. And the event shop with a variety of rewards to earn with event tokens. Ada1 plays a big part in Arms Week. Even if her recent focus has been dressing you, she wanted to help with new weapons, which is kind of nice considering she's a walking forge. Whatever. You can visit her in the shooting range and use the combat telemetry you are earning when completing activities to buy Arms Week event weapon engrams. This special engram can be decrypted at Rahul for free, or you can spend a bit more combat telemetry to focus it for higher tier rewards. Choose wisely. Very nice. I haven't played much of the Arms Week. I did a little bit of the Crucible matches where you can only use your weapons and stuff, but I really like it because I like gunplay, but I did miss using my abilities. The coil arrives at the portal. The portal has received a new activity this week, the coil. This activity was launched during the Season of the Wish in the Year of Lightfall, known for its mix of intense combat and interesting modifiers that players could buy from Riven. It was a perfect candidate for our new activity hub in the Edge of Fate. I never played the coil much just because it was so long and I just didn't have that much time to play, quite frankly. But maybe I'll give it another shot. We'll see. It wasn't my favorite activity. It felt just doing the same thing over and over and over again with not a whole lot of change during the activity. I don't know. It wasn't a menagerie, is what I'm trying to say. The coil has 3 paths available in the portal, and the experience can be customized by the players. Go for a B+ or higher grade to earn the best and most gear possible, but be careful not to make it so hard you can't cross the finish line. With update 9.0.0.4, we added the option to jump into Master and Grandmaster activities at lower levels, but be careful. If you push a bit too far, at 100 levels to be exact, you might end up facing immune enemies. The Solstice starts next week. Arms Week was our first event for the Edge of Fate, but Solstice is right around the corner. It's going to last 2 weeks, and there are a few things changing compared with how we celebrated it in the past. Ooh, it looks very summer themed. Oh, I like how they're exploring the way they design armor sets and stuff, making it a little more fun. But we are starting to stray from the space knight warrior ninja fantasy. But I think it's a fun change. I like how the hunters have the little fins at the bottom here. I do like the holofoil. It looks very beachy and watery, especially this bow. This bow looks really good with the holofoil. Everything else looks like it's just like a shiny variant, but the bow, that looks nice. I like the ducky tube that the Titan has, the arm floaties that hunters have, with the little shark hood. I didn't even see that. It's a little shark hood. That's fun. Warlocks, you look like you just look like warlocks on vacation. Nerdy. The goal of the event is to use the the Solstice Forge to create a full set of armor and then to make it glow. Given that we have a new system of stats and armor in place with the Edge of Fate, it's probably a good moment to earn a few sets. But let's talk about what's changing. For starters, in lieu of a Bonfire Bash activity this year, we are adding a plethora of modifiers to portal activities. These modifiers are inspired by solar energy, very fitting for the solstice theming, and you might recognize some of their effects if you have paid attention to the artifact in the past. Okay. We have only listed 4. You'll have to discover the rest for yourself. Hot Potato. Carryable solar flares occasionally drop from defeated combatants. Passing it between players increases the amount of damage it will do. Fired Up. Dealing damage and final blows from solar sources raises a heat meter. Once full, your weapons will cause solar explosions. Okay. Class Healing. Heal yourself when using your class ability. That's a very nice one. Igniter. Precision hits against scorched combatants cause ignitions. These modifiers will rotate each day on portal matchmaking activities, but can be selected anytime with custom difficulty selection, with one exception. Hot Potato will stay on each day for portal matchmaking activities. Another addition coming with this solstice is the new Solstice Scorch Crucible playlist. You can imagine what weapon is the main character here. The Scorch Cannon. Okay, Scorch Cannon. Back at it again with some shenanigans. Both teams will be able to use them in Clash, Control, and Rift game modes, so revel in the chaos, and don't forget you can charge the cannon after shooting it for some extra area damage. As you play during the 2 weeks of Solstice, you'll earn some free rewards in its dedicated event home, from a unique emblem to a ghost shell to some hollow foil weapons. So don't forget completing your daily and weekly challenges so you can progress the event rank track to earn all of them. This version of the event home has a new and improved reward shop where you will be able to purchase weapons directly up to a tier 4, depending on your guardian rank, as well as up to tier 4 weapons and armor engrams. There will also be glimmer stacks and enhancement cores if you need them. Okay. So you have a lot of ways to get tier 4 loot, it looks like. But it is according to your guardian rank. So just remember that. Trials of Osiris is back. After 2 weeks where other activities got their well-deserved time in the spotlight, it's time for Trials of Osiris to return. Starting tomorrow, our endgame PvP game mode will be available to players that own the Edge of Fate expansion until the following reset. Pick up a Trials Passage or a Lighthouse Passage, depending on your preference, and put on your best weapons. The map will be Burnout. Okay, I like Burnout. Should be a good time for all you Trials of Osiris fanatics. Saint 14 didn't want to change his favorite weekend pastime much, and he has only disabled the power level disadvantages in this new iteration. That doesn't mean he hasn't been busy. There are new rewards to earn. For starters, there's a new set of armor for each class, and on top of that, Saint has secured 5 weapons, including the second ever Spreadshot hand cannon, Auric Disabler Strand Precision Frame Auto Rifle, Eros Neutralizer Kinetic Spreadshot hand cannon, Aisha's Embrace Void Rapid Fire Frame Scout Rifle, Forgiveness Arc Aggressive Frame Sidearm, Unwavering Duty Solar Adaptive Machine Gun. Alright, we got some fun weapons. The new hand cannon seems fun. I think the trials will have some good PvP perks especially. During these first 6 weeks of uninterrupted trials weekends, there won't be a featured weekly weapon. That means you will be earning all of them while playing your matches, with wins having a higher chance of them dropping. We will have featured weapons again on September 9th shortly, after the Ashen Iron major update launches, and 2 more weapons enter Trials loot pool. Alright, more loot. We'll talk more about them once they are closer. For now, remember that only the Lighthouse Passage allows you to go into the Lighthouse, so choose wisely when visiting Saint. Put together a powerful build, see what stats fit your playstyle the best, and start earning new tiered Trials weapons. Very cool, very cool. More comms support for the Edge of Fate. As we progress into week 3 of the Edge of Fate, we have more to share about some of the issues players have encountered while playing. Some of these have already been shared on our social media channels and will serve as a reminder, but we are also expanding to ensure that missed patch notes, among other changes, are included. Let's look at the missing patch notes. When making changes within the game, we never intend to ship nerfs or buffs without communication. We want our players to know what's going on so they can be informed on what build crafting options to test out and explore, give us good feedback, and even help distribute the information to friends or clanmates to prep them for upcoming changes. And let's be honest, this community is proficient enough in how Destiny works that players find out sooner than later if a change is made without the proper patch notes. Correct. We found out. Sometimes things get missed in the process of filing, implementing, collecting, writing, and publishing our patch notes. We agree that it can be frustrating to be caught off guard by changes and are taking steps to further improve our patch notes processes to avoid having this happen again in the future. We've been gathering issues and missing patch notes while having conversations with the team to have the most informed take on the changes that were not communicated on time, to confirm if there's been issues that need to be fixed, and to see if we could implement some of the feedback that has been shared during the last few weeks. Let's go over them. All right, well, it's good that Bungie is acknowledging the fact that they're changing the game without letting us know. As an average player, it doesn't really affect me. Unless it like absolutely destroys the game, then that's an issue. But other than that, meh, I didn't even notice. The only bug that I care about is that sprint bug. Let me tell you, I'll be sitting here playing Crucible, having a jolly good old time, respawn after dying, right? Try to run to get a good head start to get to a place where I can be in an advantage in a gunfight. Nope. Walking speed. That's what I get. And I'm watching all my teammates die because I can't be there. I'm only halfway across the map where I need to be because I'm walking there instead of sprinting. That is the most aggravating part of this entire game, is that stupid sprint bug. Everything else is fine. Like other bugs, whatever, fine. But not being able to sprint, let me tell you, it is so aggravating in a game where movement is so crucial to winning. That's just me. All right, let's get back into it. Solar, Ember of Benevolence, had its energy regen tuned during the stat rework. The amount of energy regen was reduced from 4 times to 3 times, and the duration of the energy regen was increased by 1 second. Warlock, Touch of Flame was tuned during the stat rework. The damage of solar and fusion grenades, when enhanced by Touch of Flames, was reduced by 10%. Exotic Armor, Warlock, Speaker's Sight. Turret's lifetime was reduced from 15 seconds to 9 seconds. Despite multiple other efficiency reductions, Speaker's Sight was still dominating the healing support role. To give room to other exotics and add variety in the Warlock support playstyle space, we've reduced the turret's lifetime from 9 seconds to 15 seconds. The result is a turret that fires 2 less shots over its lifetime. We will be monitoring how this affects the performance of Speaker's Sight with an intent to let the exotics still shine. Just not as far over other exotic choices as it has been. Warlock, Wings of Sacred Dawn, no longer reload your equipped weapons from reserves. This change was made to avoid bad interactions with single-shot weapons like bows, with now also expanding to reload non-solar weapons, adding more flexibility to the exotic armor. Fair enough. Health versus shields. We have investigated reports of player health and shield functionality differing from our original explanation. Upon review, we have found discrepancies. The following is a proper explanation of how these scale with armor stats. All right, here we go. Player health. Player health stun. The time it takes the red part of the health bar to start regenerating is equivalent to 100 of the old recovery stat. Play health regen is equivalent to 20 of the old recovery stat. The health stun and health regen tuning is intentional to get injured guardians out of danger zone quickly, while leaving room for the health stat and healing verbs to be valuable. Player shields. Shield stun and shield regen is equivalent to 20 of the old recovery stat, while your health stat is below 100. When your health stat increases from 100 to 200, your shield stun and shield regen will improve, eventually going beyond 100 of the old recovery stat. From 100 to 200, you will also gain additional shields when facing combatants. There's an issue where the health stat tooltip says this affects health and not shields. The tooltip text will be corrected in an upcoming update to properly note the benefit only increases shields. Note that the 1 to 100 health stat benefit of healing per orb increases the amount of health and shields gained each time you pick up an orb of power. We will also update the necessary tooltip texts in an upcoming update. On a related note, update 9.0.0.4 fixed an issue with the health stat that was causing unexpected deaths, particularly in PvP. When this issue would occur, high health stat values cause shield and health values to become desynchronized across the server, leading to players dying unexpectedly when they believed they had full health and shields. All right. I have a couple things to say. First, as an average player, looking through the eyes of a brand new player, I'm not a new player, but let's just say I am for a sec. Hopping into Destiny, what is their expectation? Their expectation is fun looter shooter, space wizard ninja warrior with cool looking weapons and fun looking abilities. Okay. I see new players coming in just wanting to play the game and have fun. But I think that Armor 3.0, is that what we're on? 3.0 now? Whatever armor system we're on right now is forcing new players to learn how to build craft. And from an average player's perspective, so going back, it becomes very tedious, time-consuming, and eventually not fun when you're sitting there trying to figure out stats, how they work, how to get the armor that you need in order to fill the requirements that you need for your stats in order to play the game. Right? It feels like they've really started to force build crafting into the player experience where it's almost become necessary in order to win the game. And from my perspective, it is kind of annoying and sad that we can't just hop in and start playing the game because we won't succeed, right? It'll be very difficult for us to just play the game how we want to play when we're being forced to rely on builds and build crafting and finding synergies between our abilities instead of being like, this ability is really fun to use, I just want to use this and it's going to work because that's how the game is played, right? Because there are some abilities where they're just not useful in any way. You have to use certain abilities for certain things. Like I can't tell you the last time I used Flux Grenade on Arc. Like the only time that I do use it is when I'm like, hey, do you guys want to see something cool? Look how far I can throw this Flux Grenade. Boom. Launch it into the stratosphere, but that's it, right? And I feel like from a new player's perspective, there's a lot to digest with build crafting, like a lot. They have to go to a YouTube video and be like, how do I find build crafting? What builds should I use? How do I get these abilities? And it becomes a lot very fast. And for a new player who just wants to hop in and start playing the game, it kind of delays that experience and adds a lot of grind and time before they can start playing the game how they want to play. And so that's just my thought process on the new stat changes, how they work, and with armor as I've started to play with it more in the game and to understand a little bit how it works. Those are just some of my impressions as I've learned more about the new armor system and the stat changes. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I might be totally wrong in that entire statement and that I just have no idea what I'm talking about, or I have no idea what the community wants or likes or whatever. Just if you're a new player, let me know. If you're just an average gamer, let me know. I need to know if I'm right in this, okay? Anyways, let us continue. Currently investigating. Warlock. We want to acknowledge that players are feeling the sandbox for Warlock is being left behind to other classes. Buddy builds don't benefit much from the stat changes, and there aren't many meta melee builds that benefit from the additive melee changes, among other feedback. We are investigating a tuning pass for Warlocks that will start with Ashen Iron and continue through Renegades. Titan, we are investigating an interaction where Unbreakable on Prismatic Titan doesn't appear to work as intended with Shackle Grenades. Alright, fair enough. Exotic Armor. We are looking into issues and feedback regarding the following exotic armor, among others. Controverse Hold, Crest of Alpalupi, Nezarec Sin, Starfire Protocol, Crown of Tempest, Wings of Sacred Dawn, Ionia, Geomatic Stabilizers, Boots of the Assembler, Rhyme Coat Raiment. A lot they're looking at. Reported issues. Warlock. Handheld supernova damage was reduced by 20%. This was not intended and will be fixed in a future update. Sunbracers was tuned during the grenade stat rework to function the same at 70 stat. Due to the stats threshold issue explained above, fewer grenades than intended are available at 70 stat. This should be corrected with the grenade stat fix in update 9.0.0.4. Titan. Throwing Hammer Melee had a cooldown added to pick up the hammer, and its bounce was increased versus bosses. This was not intended and will be fixed in an update 9.0.0.5. Good. I know that a lot of Titans have been complaining about their hammers, especially considering that their new exotic has everything to do with that throwing hammer, so it's good that they are fixing it. Stats. Grenade, Melee, Super, and Class were not regenerating as we presented them in pre-Edge of Fate. These were fixed in update 9.0.0.4. The weapon stat will still display a 6% PvP buff after 9.0.0.4 update, despite being only 5%. This will be fixed in a future update. Hit markers. Hit markers don't appear in the HUD when players deal damage. This was fixed in updates in 9.0.0.4. Weapons. Queenbreaker no longer binding on shots. Binding? Nope. Queenbreaker no longer blinding on shots. Choir of One can be macroed to fire faster than intended. This was fixed in update 9.0.0.4. Choir of One has lower ammo regeneration than intended. This was fixed in update 9.0.0.4. Icebreaker swaps can provide ammo. We're looking to fix this in the long run, but we'll let it ride for now. All right, so they're just letting bugs ride. They're like, all right, and then play with Icebreaker, infinite ammo. Certain exotic bows don't interact with Hierarchy of Needs, Guidance Ring, and the behavior for projectiles tracking has changed. All right, Sprint. Oh, this is the big one. This is the one that I need. Okay. Sprint. We are investigating reports that players will sometimes sprint but not gain the accompanying increase in movement speed. To work around this issue, if you encounter it, return to orbit and re-enter your activity. All right. Turn it off and back on. Maybe it'll work. Artifact bonus. We're tracking an issue where the application of new gear ornaments can increase the amount of damage resistance the player receives. This will be fixed in the future. So all you getting that bonus damage resist, they're on to you. They're on to you right now. The Desert Perpetual Investigation. All right. Let's see what they're doing. We are investigating reports of cheating with fire teams who cleared the Desert Perpetual contest mode, breaking our code of conduct, and or cheating to complete the contest difficulty or other activities is a bannable offense, and players benefiting from cheating can also be subject to punishment. If you suspect someone has cheated, please submit a report to our contact form. All right, so if you know someone who cheated during the raid or has been cheating in general, please go let Bungie know so that we can get rid of them, so that those of us who just want to play and have fun can actually do so without running into people ruining the game. That would be much appreciated. Thank you. Raid and dungeon difficulty scaling. We've been watching feedback the past few weeks focused on raid and dungeon difficulty. The following changes are being planned for future updates. We will be updating the difficulty for Legacy Raid and Dungeon activities to address player feedback. The combat difficulty for normal and master modes will be reduced by 10 power. We will also be updating difficulty and the Combined Mastery Triumph in the Desert Perpetual Raid to address player feedback. Base combatant difficulty will be lowered by 10 power. Enemies will deal less damage, and players will be able to deal more damage. We will be lowering the Cutthroat Combat Raid feat, specifically the combat difficulty, by 10 power. Was plus 40 combat power, will be plus 30 combat power. We will be lowering the Combined Mastery Triumph to only require a single completion at base difficulty, which will upgrade gear rewards by 1 tier depending on number of feats active. Example, instead of getting a tier 1 reward, you'll get a tier 2 reward. Layering on additional feats will increase difficulty, but also help you get to tier 3 rewards and beyond. That's a good change. I think lowering the threshold for getting higher tier is really good. Also, I like that they're tuning down the difficulty, especially for me, absolute normie gamer over here, can actually have fun while playing it instead of sweating bullets on normal mode. So I think that's a good change. We are currently testing these changes and aiming to release them in update 9.0.0.5, and will update you if anything changes. Sprint bug. All right, here's an update. We have an update to share regarding sprinting sometimes not working for players. This has been a particularly nasty issue in PvP since launch, but has also affected PvE content. Yes, please. The cause is due to players hitting a max number of stat modifiers allowed in a match or activity. This max number is shared among all players and enemies and normally would be rare to reach, but the modifiers aren't disappearing on death like they should. This means that they have been stacking when a player revives, increasing the likelihood that the max will be hit. Some players have pointed out, and we believe this is to be correct, that this issue has existed since episode Heresy, but we've only seen an impact since the Edge of Fate's launch due to the addition of Armor 3.0 stat modifiers. We've made progress in identifying the root cause, and we are now targeting a short-term fix for that for next Tuesday, August 5th, in Destiny 2 Update 9.0.0.5. While there may still be instances of this issue occurring after the update is shipped, we believe it will reduce the frequency as we continue to investigate a long-term fix. Thank you. At least they are recognizing the problem, and they know kind of what's causing it. There's too many stats, is what's happening. And they're stacking a lot, which is causing us to slow the fuck down. But I'm glad they're working on a fix, because I desperately need it. Alright, budget your build in the Desert Perpetual Raid. This weekend, 6 teams of streamers from around the world are equipping their prismatic subclasses and hitting the new Desert Perpetual Raid in the global Destiny 2 creator event. Budget your build. Shout out to Sammy Cat, Bow Expert, and the brain behind this event. Before they even enter the raid, each player is given a small amount of virtual money to buy their super abilities, aspects, fragments, and exotic armor. Then for each encounter or additional challenge completed, everyone gets additional money to upgrade their builds. Think cooperative build crafting meets roguelike. Oh, this would be so good if this was just like a normal activity. Like, I'm getting into roguelikes because they're like an evolving world that changes every single run. And it's like bringing Menagerie back, but in a different way. And anything that gets close to the Menagerie is chef's kiss in my book. So I really hope that they learn from this experience and add it into the game as an activity that we can do. Please, Bungie, listen. Thank you. Bye. All right, North America, Saturday, August 2nd at 4 p.m. Team Captain Khan. Team, this is it. This is their team. I'm not reading all their names. You can see them. Look at them go. Okay. Next. Look at them go. Look at all these teams. Look at them all. I'm not in any of them because nobody knows me. All right. Each region will be given away 1 copy of Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition to 1 lucky guardian in their collective communities so they can play the Desert Perpetual 2. Each creator will also have additional All That creator emblem codes to give away during the event. This is fun. This is like a classic going to Chuck E. Cheese kind of vibe. Very fun, very cool. All right, and then here's all the rewards you could be getting if you're that lucky guardian. All right, we got lore. Closing brief 006 Guardian Operative. Dispatch contains restricted information for select fire teams and will purge its data upon closure. The conductor Maya Sundaresh. Classification Vex Human Nessian Schism Founder. Hazards. The Echo of Command greatly increased strength, speed, intelligence, and durability. Guardians rated Sigma 3 or lower are ordered to not engage while target retains the Echo. Commands a large partition of the Vex Collective. Full capabilities are unknown and data is scarce. Intel. The conductor has been spotted within the operational zone on Kepler. All operatives are advised to process through Vex territory with extreme caution. Report all direct contact with the conductor to operational command immediately. The conductor wields an echo of paracausal power. It is the remnant of the clash between light and dark that erupted from the death of the witness. This echo allows Maya to impose her will onto others, forcing them to follow her commands. While originally only able to employ this power over the Vex and Exos, she has shown the ability to exert this power over non-Exo Guardians as well. Oh, so everyone else out there who's not an Exo, now you're only kind of safe. Of note, prior to becoming the conductor, Maya Sundaresh had once copied her consciousness into the Exo Lakshmi 2. Lakshmi was killed in the Vex raid of her own making during the Endless Night, after stirring anti-Elixni sentiment to a fever pitch within the city. Maya Sundaresh's true goal is to reunite with her wife, Chioma Essie. Or is it Chioma? Chioma Essie. But Vanguard records state that during the events of the conductor's rise on Nessus, Chioma Essie was judged to be flawed and murdered by the conductor's own hand. Before reforming as the conductor on Nessus, Maya Sundaresh had been an Ishtar Collective scientist. While researching the Vex, she was copied and simulated endlessly, those various iterations exploring the VexNet. Many still exist, wandering lost in the network. Thank you for reading all our lore briefs. I hope you enjoyed them. I did. Thank you. They've been very insightful. Bungie rewards await you on Kepler. Eyes up, Guardian, or Weapon, as some weird entities have started calling you after the events of the Edge of Fate. If you have completed the campaign, you have new and amazing Bungie rewards available for purchase in the Bungie store. Give them a look before they go away. Look at all this cool stuff. All these cool things. Go buy them. All right. Bungie Foundation campaign wrap-up. You did it again, Guardians. Your light has once again shone brightly, changing lives for kids and communities around the world. Together, we raised an astounding $1.4 million. We are so deeply thankful for your generosity and trust in the Bungie Foundation's mission. We heard from so many community members throughout our Bungie Day campaign. The giving back and offering a helping hand to others comes second nature to gamers who spend their time playing as Guardians, working together to save humanity. What an honor it is to stand amongst you, Lightkeepers, and help make the world a better place. Also, a huge shout out to our 7th Column Chaos Champions, Miss Vuria and Lord DJBG. Nice. Of the Paracausal Ponies. Nice, the ponies won! Let's go! You survived 3 rounds of chaos, bested the competition in the Crucible, and will have your names forever etched in glory. Stay tuned to our social channels to see your donations in action, making positive impact for those who need it most. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and continue to spread the light wherever you can. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. All right. That is everything for This Week in Destiny. Thank you so much for coming and watching, and we will see you next week for the next TWID. And as always, bye!